All right, folks, I asked myself a really honest question. Were these recent real estate buyers, were they actually meant to profit from these purchases? Whether it's a condo, a house, whatever, right? I mean, it's just a question. So I started digging what happened in between. Because if I go back like 2, 3 decades, I had conversations with different people, and you can comment below if you had this particular experience. Like even in the 90s, I had so many people that have purchased in a down market, and they said, look, uh, developers and builders used to build these homes. Majority of these homes were built, right? Like even in the early 2000s, like they built these properties as much as they could, then they sell them, and off we go. Like that was the actual process, right? And majority of people wanted to feel the actual property itself. Like they wanted to walk through a model home, they wanted to to see what they were actually buying. And then I find that the closing dates were shorter, 6 months out, 1 year out, etc. So that was the old system. And that system somehow changed from the old system, which you would purchase these properties at current market value. Big one. Remember that one. So let's move. So now in the new style of sales, or in the new process, right? In this new world, we have seen that the developers and the builders, projects kept getting bigger. I get that. Also, people would line up, they would hold that particular inventory, they would sell it in phases, etc. Like you would wait for your properties, a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, 5 years out, you name it. Let's remember, Milton, for years and years, people would line up for Mattamy Homes and all these other builders all across Toronto, GTA, and whatnot, right? So, but the whole point is that builders shifted from selling these properties at current valuation, current market value, like somewhere in that bracket, to future value. Once you get the key, the anticipation or projection was already built into the price. So let me give you an example. Old system, the house was worth, let's say, $400,000. You would buy it, and you would probably, get the keys within that evaluation of $400,000. New system, you would pay today $500,000, even though the market is around $400,000, you would pay the extra. But once you get the keys, it's almost a given, because Canadian real estate market was somehow bulletproof, and it would never sink, like at least the psychology of it. And you would get the keys after a few years, and that home would be valued at that particular price. Now, that all worked out. It all worked out for years. In fact, it worked out for maybe 2 decades, 20 years, right? And then that created that momentum where people knew for a fact, if they go to a reputable builder, right? Like you heard that. You buy from a reputable builder. Why? Because they provide value, location, quality, the sure thing, whatever, right? No problem, fine. So it worked out. But now the new system broke in a way where I'm questioning now, were these buyers, were they even meant to actually make profits on these particular purchases? Because everything happened to be kind of left out in the cold for the buyers. And the buyers are the ones that carry everything. The offset price, the future projected price, the future mortgage, right? Because you don't know, you buy the property today, you might be pre-approved which only is valued at 90 days or 6 months, whatever, like depending on the bank. But the point is, now the buyer has to take the risk in projecting 3 years out, 4 years out, 2 years out, right? That's huge, huge risks. And if you speak to someone that's a professional in the field, regardless of what it is, stock market, real estate market, you name it, no one can predict. I mean, things are shifting rapidly, they're shifting fast. So much uncertainty around everything, around money, around borders, around you name it, right? Like livelihoods nowadays, businesses, economies, jobs. And now someone needs to take that risk and project it out for 3 years, 5 years, whatever, right? So it kind of seems like that everything is kind of in the bag for the buyers. I mean, like you like whatever. When the time comes, like you'll figure it out almost kind of thing, right? So, and if you don't have a parachute, too bad. Jump off the building without one. I mean, I'm being ridiculous at this point, but that's what it seems like. And if you try to get out of some of these agreements and contracts and all of that stuff, most people did not read it, right? Why? Yes, there's always a cool off period of 10 days. You can take these documents to the lawyers and all of that stuff. I heard so many stories, even from the lawyers, and that's fine. I mean, they read the agreement and they say, look, it's a common agreement. Like I've seen thousands of these. Not a big deal. Everything is fine, and there's caps here and levies there and all of that stuff. But that's normal. Like it's fine. And I agree with them to a point. Everything is fine once people see the profit, once people see that particular graph go up. But now in these times, all these clauses started to bite because we have the biggest influx of mortgage renewals in Canada come up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to hurt. The economy is not stable. Job losses are incredible, right? A lot of people, just at a dinner table, they will not admit it or say it or be like, look, I'm scared that I'm going to lose my job. Like that's not the typical common conversation that you want to have with friends at a dinner table, kids involved and all that stuff. I get that, right? Like some people also feel ashamed. And let me bring you to another point by like when we're in this bubble of a conversation, and while you're at it, please like and subscribe to the channel. So I spoke to a gentleman, all right, and I see he's breathing heavy, all right, has a wife, his kids and all of that stuff, working multiple jobs and whatnot. And I asked him, I'm like, look, why don't you downsize? Why don't you do something? Like get that burden off your back. Like, like just make it easy for everyone, because you're stressing, because you're overworked, you're tired, you cannot solve much. You're just paying interest on top of interest, right? Like the principal of that of your mortgage is not even close to being touched. Like your trigger rate, which means that you maximized the principal and the interest on your mortgage, it's maxed out. And then every time, every three months, which is a quarterly, they have to give you a report. And if you triggered it, you might have to like top more money on top of that interest and all that stuff. I'm like, why don't you do that? I mean, like all these cars and like that lifestyle, like like you're going on a vacation, you don't have a dime in your pocket. Like I personally don't care. Like live your life, do whatever you want, right? I mean, what's the theory? Like the first question that I asked him, I'm like, okay, are you doing this because you are deep down hoping, or or you're predicting that future value will somehow bounce back very quickly, and you will see either profits or you will become stable overnight. So that's the question. And then he told me, well, without a word of a lie, it's none of the above. I don't think the market will increase anytime soon. I don't think I will see any profits. I think none of that. I think I'm going on a big slide, and it's gonna be for a long time, and it's gonna be painful, and it's gonna hurt. I'm like, what is it then? I'm like, why are you putting yourself in that position, in that bottleneck situation where you're breathing heavy? And he told me this. You know why? Because of the influence of my friends. I built up a particular or reputation, a visual expectation of my friends and my wife friends and my kids friends and all of that stuff. And now everything is becoming a bubble. Now, me stepping out of the bubble, I will solve a problem of my heart and soul because we can manage things a little bit easier as a family, as a whole. However, I'm not ready to do so, and I'm willing to fight even though I'm drowning, and probably I will drown, but just to show everyone else that I'm at a certain threshold or level or whatever. My God, when I heard that, it was incredible. Like I did not know what to say. So anyways, comment below if you have friends like that, or if you think that you have friends like that. But anyways, moving back to the story, it's just like, I believe like some of these people never meant to make any profits. They were either meant to consume and to make that wheel spin as much as possible and to involve other parties like friends and parents. And I know so many parents that they took line of credits to help their kids to buy that shoebox condo or to do something like that, like so they were taking RSPs. Like there at one point in time, I remember people taking RSPs from the banks because the return wasn't there. They can make more profits in real estate and all of that stuff, and it always keeps going up, and all of that movie kept on going forever, right? So I just don't know, like, and therefore, to finalize this video, therefore, I believe personally that there's no trigger, like no one-step solution that can kind of turn the situation around quickly, right? Because it takes more than just, a great article to say, hey, fine, we're doing great. It's a little bit cold, but we're fine. No, we're not fine. Like we need more in order to find stability, long-term stability, future projection, a solid plan. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.